Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Israel Update. It's Christy and Doobie with you as always every Friday. Hello, everybody.
Shalom, shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
So, Doobs, we were just talking about some different things that have been going on in Israel. You know, there's all sorts of things we could speak about, but the main thing that I think a lot of the news isn't covering the way they should be, and something that is a really massive deal right now that we should be focusing on is Turkey. Let's talk about it. Tell me from your perspective and from your incredible knowledge of the region and the history and everything, what do you think is going on with Turkey right now?
So first and foremost, we have to remember and remind our viewers that the Bible is talking exactly about this. And I want to start with that because I want to keep them engaged in prayer and in their thoughts, because we are seeing, when we are getting closer and closer to the end days, we are seeing how all the different players mentioned in the Bible are trying to close up on Israel.
Yes.
They're coming closer. If we know already for a long time the story with Iran, we're seeing the alliances that they are signing with China, which is the far north that is mentioned in the Bible, and Russia, which is the closest north, Gog and Magog, the lands of Gog and Magog, China and Russia.
Yes.
They're in the bed together with Iran, and they are on their journey to get closer on Israel. That's we see.
Yes.
The other players, they were all the time kind of wavering, and we didn't know how to really interpret it. Is Turkey is mentioned to be one of these powers and forces that will be getting on together with these elements and closing on Israel.
Yes.
But we didn't know how to digest it. We didn't know how to analyze it, because for all these years, Turkey is a huge axis in NATO.
Yes.
It's the biggest ally of the US, and obviously the US is not going to come against Israel. So we're looking at this, and we don't know how to give the real interpretation, and now we do, because ever since Erdogan has been the new tyrant, the dictator from Turkey, as we've seen what he's done to his opponent just recently, putting into prison the only guy who really challenges him, the mayor of Istanbul, and he puts him into prison, just like the darkest regimes in the world. And they're talking about being a net NATO member and democracy. They're not real democracy. I just don't understand how NATO and the rest of the world, the free world, are looking into what's their interest with the story of Turkey. It's been long ago that Turkey is radicalizing and becoming more and more Islamic. And we're seeing now that they are the ones, first and foremost, that financed and supported the new regime, the new terror regime in Syria. And now they're using and taking advantage of the fact that their allies, the ones they put in, El Julani has been taking over Syria, and they are trying to militarize Syria with infiltration of their own military, of their own army. There have been attempts in the last 3-4 weeks that Israel has been able to detect that Turkey is rebuilding the air force of Syria using their own equipment and their own materials, bringing weapons, bringing workers, bringing all kinds of different equipment into Homs and into the T4, the military air base in Syria. And Israel has been talking to the West about it for a long time without any response, nor from the US, nor from England, nor from other members of NATO, to the extent that last night, and we're recording now late on, actually Thursday in Israel, and we are literally seeing that last night Israel launched a massive aerial attack on those air bases and other facilities in Syria to prevent Turkey from infiltrating into Syria and rebuilding a new front on northern Israel with the new coming elements of the radical Islam of the Sunnis that is led by Erdogan. You have seen that for a long time, and it's going kind of under the radar, that is saying death to Israel, and he's blaming Israel for being a genocidal element in the area, and all these things, all these nonsense saying against Israel. The leadership of Hamas are literally getting asylum and shelter in Turkey together with Qatar. All these Sunni so-called powers and forces that for years we were afraid of the Shiites. Now we're seeing that even the Sunnis are getting into the scene and trying to, I would say, maybe shake the situation and the balance, the checks and balances in this area. Recently, we've seen also that Egypt are getting more and more forces closer to the borders with Israel, claiming that they are not, I would say, breaking the ceasefire and the peace agreement with Israel. They're only bringing forces closer to areas where there are dispute and situations with the Palestinians, whatever, to try and enhance their own security. But we are seeing all these nations from the south, from the north, coming closer and closer and closer and closing on Israel to the extent of biblical prophecies.
Everything, Dubes, I appreciate how informative that was, and you just summarized everything that's going on so beautifully. But it is true. We're watching military alliances that Ezekiel predicted thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
And we've seen it when you think about how recent it actually is in the scope of human history, from when Genesis first is documented all the way through. It's actually crazy when you think about the fact that it's now that we're seeing these alliances forming. It's mind-blowing, but you realize that's what these ancient prophets were seeing. And it's something for us to just, again, be aware of. Kings rise and fall, kingdoms rise and fall, presidents, prime ministers, so many different things rise and fall, but what has remained is the nation of Israel and the God of Israel. And even when Israel didn't have a homeland for 2,000 years, when it was completely impossible, it seemed impossible in the natural, by all accounts, that the Jews would ever have somewhere to call home. We saw God fulfill his word that he spoke through his prophet Zechariah, through Jeremiah, through Isaiah. We saw all of these things. We're watching it in fulfillment. And so even though Turkey is standing right now, Erdogan in particular, he's wicked. This is a wicked person.
Definitely.
He's wicked. He's calling for destruction of the Jews and the Zionists, and he's calling for death and all these different things. And yet you're talking about, like Dubi said, a member of NATO, someone like this. But because, again, for these Islamist regimes, democracy is just a paper tiger. It doesn't mean anything to them. They don't care. And so they're trying to creep closer and closer and closer from all the different sides. And that's what the Bible told us is going to happen. That is what the ancient prophets, the Nevi'im, told us. This is what's going to happen. We know this. And so I stand and say, well, God is in control. He knows exactly what's going on. Our job is to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, as always. The scriptures are full of telling us to do that, and that is something we will always do. Pesach is coming up next week as well. Just for everybody to know, we've moved the main House of Destiny broadcast from a Saturday to a Wednesday, and we're doing it basically live, and Doobie's going to be with us on that next week. So you're watching this on Friday. Next week, Wednesday, Doobs is going to be joining myself and Donay, and we're going to be doing it and talking about this because there's a prophecy that Kim gave that mentions Turkey, and we're going to dig more into that next week with Doobie. So from our side, we just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for caring about the nation of Israel, the people of Israel, and continue to pray, as always, for the peace of Jerusalem. We will never stop. We will never, ever stop praying, never, ever stop standing. This is who we are. This is what we do. We always say, Israel is forever. Am Yisrael Chai. It's what we do. So we say, God bless you. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello, friends. I'm Donna Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding his revelations. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside.
Because we live in this fleshly shell, we are so attuned to what's happening in the flesh that we miss a lot of the things that we should be more tuned in as far as the spirit is concerned. So fasting helps you do that.
And remember this, fasting doesn't move God, it moves us. And when we fast, we're actually, our bodies are healing themselves. Besides all the spiritual benefits, our bodies are healing themselves. And with the American diet, we need healing.
This fast was called, and I could have said, oh, well, I'm going to fast media, or I'm going to fast, but I decided to fast that which I know would cost me the most,
Right.
which was sugar and desserts, and I knew it was going to be over Christmas time. Watch now at real-faith.tv.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows, only $14.98. Queens, $18.98. King size, only $1 more. Body pillows, $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.